What's going on, you guys? If you're new here, my name is Morgan, and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be talking about dogs, but in particular, we're going to be talking about Dapple and Dachshunds. So this is a common question that comes up quite a bit, and it's something I got confused for a very long time when I first started breeding Dachshunds because it's a terminology term, and the way you say it comes off a certain way. So in Dachshunds, it is AKC. It's AKC normal. It's normal in AKC. It's an accepted color or pattern in AKC. Dapple. Dapple is technically a pattern. It's not a color. It's a pattern, such as piebald and brindle. They're all patterns. So Dapple is a very common pattern. It's a very popular pattern. Dapple is Merle to like Australian Shepherds and Chihuahuas, but in Dachshunds it is called Dapple, but it is the same exact thing. Dapple is a base coat of a certain color with little spots on them, basically, is the best way to put it. If you've seen my previous videos, you will know we have multiple Dapple Dachshunds, which includes Dreamfire, Row, Hershey. Who else do I have? I have hidden dapples. A hidden dapple is where you can't see it, but genetically it does carry, or genetically it is dapple. Now, that's something I'm going to be talking about, which is carrying dapple and being dapple, the differences. Which there's no such thing as carrying dapple. They are or are not, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I have hidden dapples, which includes Rainier and Whiskey. I have dapples where you can barely see their dappling, which includes Nicks. And I just have a little bit of everything. Whiskey and Rainier are probably my two only hidden dapples, which means you cannot see their dappling. Nicks, you can see it, but you have to see it in the right light. She is a red dapple. And then I have some that were born with dapple and it has disappeared over time, which includes Shadow Heart, which is Hershey's puppy. Hershey is a red-based chocolate dapple. I always get the two confused. I always say chocolate-based red dapple, but Hershey is red with chocolate spots. That's basically the best way to put it. Sometimes I can get the terminology confused. I've been doing it my whole life at this point. It doesn't matter what it is, dapple, dachshunds, or what. This is a common occurrence I've seen a lot in terms of dachshunds and really, it's been dachshunds because I am primarily in the dachshund community. So a lot of people will say dachshunds, dapple and dachshunds is carried. Now, that's not entirely true. And the dachshund is dapple. It will come up dapple. And I guess you could say technically it is carried. But there's only two terms involved in that. The dog is either dapple or is not dapple. Dapple is not technically carried. It's not carried. It is either they are dapple or they are not dapple. Now, again, if you look at a genetic test, it does come up dapple or not dapple, but it is not a carried genetic. It's not technically carried. It should not be used in carried terminology. Dachshund is either dapple or it's not. So, for example, Row is dapple, period. Whiskey, I used to say Whiskey carries dapple, but that is not true. Whiskey is dapple. It might be hidden, but he is still dapple. He does not carry it. He is dapple, but he is a hidden dapple. So that's the difference between the terminology. He doesn't technically carry it. So, like, let me give you an example. So, Fuzzy carries for long hair. It's just something that he carries for. He's not long-haired. He carries for it. Now, and obviously with dapple, you don't always see dapple. But the difference is he carries it, and he can pass it on to his puppies. With dapple, they are dapple regardless. They may or may not pass it on to their puppies. With long hair, they pass it on, period. End of story. With dapple, you don't always pass it on. And I'll give you, again, another example. Who do I have? Hershey was bred to Cappuccino. They had two puppies, which include Shadowheart and Indo. Indo was a chocolate and tan based off like Cappuccino. Indo did not carry for dapple. He is not dapple. So again, that's the terminology. He is not dapple because he did not get it from Hershey. But long hair, for example, they carry it. They carry piebald. They carry these other genetic terms that can or cannot be passed to puppies. Now, piebald will always be passed on, but you do get those cryptic piebalds with like Cappuccino. He's a cryptic piebald and will never produce piebald puppies. But again, that's something for a different time because this is Cappuccino is my first ever cryptic piebald I have ever had to deal with. So there's that. But for dapples, you are or you are not. There's no such thing as carrying dapple. They are or they are not. Now, again, like I said, with long hair, they pass long hair on regardless. They will pass that genetic thing on regardless. And the same good thing goes for piebald. They will pass piebald on regardless. They carry for piebald. They are piebald. They will pass it on regardless whether or not. Regardless. It's something they will always pass on. And I'll give you another example. Cappuccino is not piebald. Hershey is. She carries for it. They pass it along to Indo and Shadowheart. So, regardless, dapple is or is not. They are dapple. They are not dapple. But it's not always passed on. Again, Rue, she had produced Dapple puppies. She with Mr. Ruffles. Mr. Ruffles is Dapple, or Roe is Dapple, but they did not pass it on to two out of four puppies. Celebrimbor and Jacqueline are Dapple. The Blue Boy and the Brindle Boy are not Dapple, but they passed on the piebald gene from Mr. Ruffles, or Roe, which his original name was Mr. Ruffles, which is why I call him that. They passed on the Dapple gene from Roe to the puppies, regardless of whether or not Rue carried for it, because Rue does not carry for it regardless. But again, it's a terminology thing. Now, personally, I don't think anything's wrong with saying that, but in the Dachshund community, you are Dapple, or they are Dapple, or they are not Dapple. There's no such thing as carrying it. They are, or they are not. Personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with the terminology, because I say Whiskey carries for Dapple, because Whiskey is not an apparent Dapple. So I usually say with my hidden Dapples, they carry for it, but I've kind of come away from that because it is a big thing in the Dachshund community. So Whiskey and Rhaenyra are regardless Dapple, whether or not they show for it. And the only way you can figure that out was through a genetic test, which is Embark or Wisdom Panel. We typically use Embark, but I have used Wisdom Panel. Wisdom Panel is not entirely reliable breed worthy, but it has been genetic worthy. I tested it out with the dog's genetics multiple times between Embark and Wisdom Panel. But again, Embark is Dapple is carried or is not. They are Dapple or they are not Dapple. There's no such thing as carried in Dapples. It's not the same thing as saying they carry for long hair and they pass long hair onto their puppies, because they don't always pass Dapple onto their puppies. I've tested multiple times just to be sure, because when I first got started, it was something I confused the terminology in quite a bit. But anyways, it's a big thing in the Dachshund community. They are Dapple, they are not Dapple. There's no such thing as carried. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. So there's a bit of a facts for you as far as Dapples go and terminology wise. So anyways, I thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Do you have a Dapple Dachshund? What are your thoughts on Dapples? What's your favorite color and your favorite pattern? Dapples are a pattern. Just a reminder. Chocolate is the color. Like Mr. Roe he's a chocolate Dapple piebald. So the color and the pattern. What's your favorite pattern? What's your favorite color? Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time in the next video. See you guys later.